guys, Brandon got a lot of things going on. How you do? Welcome to the Don Vic Show.
How are you? I'm doing good. It's so good to see you, Victor. Thank you for inviting me.
Listen, it's an honor to have you on the show. And I want to thank Jennifer for making this happen. She's amazing.
Yes, she's so wonderful. Such a dear friend. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's start off by, telling people exactly what it is that you do.
Yes, well, I am an author of 3 books. I have them here. I can show you. I can hold up 2 comedies, Still Single, and then Still Dating. And then I have a drama story. It's a novel called My Husband the Stranger. And that would be a great feature film, too. It's a wonderful true story, drama. It's not a comedy, though. And then I wrote screenplays, I write comedy, I write dramas, I write songs, I do a whole bunch of different things. And yes, through Jennifer, I won the Believe in Your Dreams screenplay for Best Script Screenplay for my Dating Dilemmas. That's based on my 2 comedy books. And I've performed it in the play in Chicago, and I turned it into a screenplay, but I have performed, and there's a lady that I performed with that played my mother, my widowed mother in the play, and it's very funny. It actually is about a mother who talks her daughter into trying online dating, and the daughter tries it, and after she goes out on a few funny dates, it didn't work too well for her. She didn't find Mr. Right after a few dates, so she talked her widowed mother into joining the online dating, and it was really so much fun and so cute to perform this throughout the Chicagoland area. I've been in different theaters and cafes and comedy clubs and singles groups, and done some charity events for Gilda's Club in Milwaukee, for Gilda Radner's Club. We performed it there. I was with another comedian. And then another lady that's a comedian, and she also performed with me at the, it's called the Skokie Theater in my hometown, actually.
Wow.
And we perform. It's just a lot of fun, and I think it would be a great weekly TV series or a web series or even a Netflix story. It would be really great for any type of a cable show or anything.
I would love to see that. So you're a well-rounded woman. You do everything, but what it looks like, you do a little bit of everything.
Oh, I do.
Holy crap.
All right, I started out acting and doing singing. I was a singer in musicals for many years, and then in my hometown, and I was in a lot of plays, and then I always liked to write. So when something happy happened, I would write out a poem. If something sad happened, then I would write a poem, and then I turned some of my poems into songs and song lyrics. And then I wrote a poem called My Mom, My Angel, with my mother up in heaven. Now, she passed several years back, but I wrote, dedicated my books to her, and I wrote poems to people in my family, to friends that I've known through the years, and then I kind of turned some of them into song lyrics, and then I have a few music videos on my YouTube channel also.
Wow.
So I love to sing. I do celebrity impressions in my show. I talk about funny dates. I have wonderful male friends, and one of them I've known for many, many years, and we hang out. All my male buddies and I, we go to movies, we go to dinner, and they tell me about their funny dating stories. The single ones.
That's amazing. You do a whole lot. I mean, just being a comedian takes a lot. Writing down your material and what to say and to make sure that you're gonna get the crowd going and I mean, what's the biggest fear for you doing a stand-up comedian, doing a stand-up?
I think it's kind of the same for all comedians, and I've talked to so many. And I love to be on stage. I mean, I've always been a shy girl throughout the years, where if I went to a party, I would be the one that would be like in the corner waiting. I like a wallflower. I know it's hard to believe. Then I broke out of my shell, so to speak, and then got into theater and stuff. But I know that it just seems like, you know, getting on stage, once I hold the microphone, I'm just so happy, and I become, you know, like happy. And I know that a lot of comedians that I've spoken to have had, you know, different tragedies, which I have too. I've had some sad times in my life. And then when you're performing, you're happy. So if the worst fear would be what I would imagine a lot of, you know, people doing a live performance, is that maybe there may be someone that may not like, you know, a joke or something, or they may not, you know, like something that you do, or they, you know, there has been times when I've performed and I would see maybe like one person that would just be sitting there, maybe not smiling or not laughing. Then I would make sure that I would somehow get one joke that would possibly get them to smile, and it usually does. It usually works.
Wow.
But I think that's just everybody's fear. Every comedian always wants the whole audience to like them and enjoy the show.
Right. I think my biggest fear of being a comedian is to get on stage and forget my lines. I'll be like, what was that again? Can you read my line? You know, I think that'll be like my biggest fear will be that, to forget my lines. Have you gotten stage fright?
I really haven't. I get excited to be performing, but I really haven't. I've done this for, you know, for quite a while, and I've done some local Chicago and the suburbs where I live. I've done some cable TV shows where they've interviewed me about my books and about different theater performances that I was in musical or wherever I was, and I just enjoy it. And I'm honored to be there. I've performed at libraries. I even performed for a mayor that was in my area in Franklin Park here. One year I did that, and it was just, it's amazing. It's just really so much fun. Doesn't matter if it's a comedy club, if it's a small cafe. Yeah. I have perform for senior groups, senior citizen groups. They get a kick out of the impressions that I do, celebrity impressions, Liza Minnelli and Carol Channing, and I do Ed Sullivan. I do a whole bunch of the greats, of the classics, and they enjoy. Sometimes they sing with me while I'm singing, so they have a good time.
That's great. You know what? I have a friend of mine, and we spoke about this. He does a lot of shows. He does a lot of shows in New Jersey. Good friend of mine. Mike Ross, that's what he does. I went to one of his shows in New Jersey. It was downtown. It was an amazing place. The stage was amazing. You know, the scenery inside was so beautiful. And I can see you on that stage, you know, performing, doing one of your live stand-ups on there. And you know, he's a very fair guy. You know, he gives people opportunities to come and perform. So I'm gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna talk to him, let him know that I have someone that, you know, might be interested on doing a live performance in New Jersey, and see what he says. If he says it's okay, then I'm gonna reach out to you, and I'm gonna connect you with him, and then you guys can go from there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but he's amazing.
I would love to.
Yeah, in New Jersey, when I went there, it was real. You know, I thought I was gonna go see, like, you know, when you go to like it looked like a stadium.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
It's like a stadium.
Oh, that would be
stage, you know, stage, all the seats, people were sitting, you know what I'm saying? And I got picked on by one of his comedians that were there, you know, twice. Because, see, that's
wonderful.
What I learned about going to see comedy shows is never sit in the front row. Never sit on the front row unless you want to be a part of that show.
You're part of it. You're part of it. Well, I kind of it would be wonderful to be in New York, and I do all my voices. I mean, I have from Liza Minnelli. People yell out, "Do your Liza Minnelli," and I was thinking, what would she say if she was here? She would probably say, "I'm so happy to be here. All our friends are here, and we're all singing and dancing, and life is a cabaret of challenge, and I'm so glad you all came here today. And thank you so much, Victor, for being with me today on the show. I'm so sorry to be singing all over everybody. My name is Elijah, and that's Elijah with a G, not Elijah with an S.
That's awesome. I like that.
I do. Thank you. And I did. I have when I was a little girl, my dad up in heaven. I have two dads. My stepdad too, up in heaven. It took me to see Carol Channing in Hello Dolly, and I was thinking she was amazing. She used to perform like 2 shows a night. I don't know how she did that. I think she did this for like 40 years. And I used to walk around with like this great big umbrella and pretend I was singing from Hello Dolly, but we can improvise with a little umbrella if everybody wants to join. She used to sing like a little girl. Oh, hello, Victor. Well, hello, fellas. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. I love Carol.
You're hilarious.
I do so many voices. You have to come and see my show. I do an impression of Ed Sullivan. I do Mick Jagger. I do Judy Garland. Okay. I do all the greats. Really, Cher. I do Cher. I do a lot of voices.
That'll be
all my favorites.
That'll be great. So I'm gonna reach out to him and see. I know he was doing a show somewhere in Jersey or New York soon. But I'm gonna reach out to him and I'm gonna let him know about you, and I'm gonna have him or you connect with him and you guys can talk, and maybe he'll ask you for, like, I don't know, to do a little something for him or something. I don't know what he might do. Sure. But you know, the connection is there, you know, and you know, I would love to see you on stage and perform. On a stage, like a, you know, not on a library, sure. But on a stage. Not that a library is bad, but you know, I want to put you somewhere nice where you're gonna look great, and I know you're gonna kill it.
Thank you. You know? I've done some comedy shows, of course, through the years in Chicago, and not on a big stage like that, but there's been some somewhat big, some were larger, some were smaller, right. Where I've had audiences from somewhere between maybe 90 and 150 people, and I did an auditorium show. There was like an auditorium with a stage, and when I was performing in plays, it was rather large. The play, you know, the stage in the Playhouse was rather large, but nothing for more than maybe like 150 to 160 people. So I would really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I would love it.
That's about the same. It's like an auditorium, but you know, it's big. You got the stage, it got the seats, and then it got the high rises behind it. It's real nice.
Oh,
it's real nice.
Oh, something.
Yes.
Great.
So
wonderful. I would love it. I love to be on stage. I would love that. So yes, that would be wonderful.
I'm gonna make that call for you after the show, and I'll get back to you.
I would love that. Thank you. Thank you. That would be so exciting. I'm having such a good time, and it would be great. You know, I used to do extra work years ago in movies that were filmed here in Chicago too, and I did a lot of background. And I got some close-up scenes in some of the movies, The Untouchables. I had a close-up scene, and my mom was in some of them with me years ago. We had a great time.
Untouchables.
I enjoy all of them.
You're talking about
I do. Yes, it was so
you're talking about the gangster movie Untouchables?
With Robert De Niro, Kevin Costner. Yes, got to meet all of them. They were all on the set. It was amazing.
Wow.
I mean, we were in the courtroom scene. I got a close-up in the courtroom scene, and then I was sitting next to 2 seats from Patricia Clarkson. My mother got a close-up scene. They had our hair set from that era. It was really amazing. We were all dressed up in different outfits from that time, from when that was filmed, and it was just really neat. It was really neat.
I love that movie. I love that. Untouchables. Untouchables, Debbie, I watched that maybe 2-3 times in a month. I watched the movie twice or 3 times. I love the movie. I love that movie. But see, I didn't know who those ladies were, but now I know one of them.
There we go. I remember they filmed so many things in Chicago. There was like weekly TV series. I remember I was on one with Tom Bosley. I know he passed a while back, but he from Happy Days, and then I was in it was a soda fountain type of a place, and I was drinking from an ice cream type of a shake, and he was walking in. It was really cool. I mean, lots of different things that I did. I just really enjoy doing anything to do with acting, and not only just being in the plays and the theater. I like to do this type of thing. I'm actually working with a man now that's producing a show for the Roku channel. He's launching a Roku channel, and he filmed 3 sets of my comedy routines, and another comedian.
Great.
And he's got some filmmakers that have done short films from New York, I believe, Boston, and I think he's got someone from Florida, about 30 people. And he's going to be putting it all together for a to launch this channel, and it'll probably be out in April or May, he said, and it'll be in a theater out here in St. Charles, and it'll be really nice, and I'll get to see myself on the big screen.
That's amazing.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I would love
to
see you on a big screen. You know, I see a lot of good friends of mine here. I see Amy Young. She's an amazing actress too. She's watching.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody.
yeah. So listen,
Thank you.
my viewers are all awesome. They're great people, and you know, they all. Some of them are actors, actresses, book writers. You know, so they're watching.
Yes.
They're watching. So
They're
it's
watching.
all,
Watching.
they're watching.
Oh, I was going to tell you too. I was so lucky to be featured in this magazine called Red, The Luxury Life. My dear friend Sandra, she is the founder and she is the publisher of the magazine. And I think I may have sent you a page from it, but I'm actually in the credits that I won for best script and screenplay in her wonderful magazine. There's models in there, and there's fashion designers, and it's so wonderful. And through her Red Silk Carpet Concierge company, I won for Best Comedian in Chicago, an award for her magazine, Red Silk Carpet Magazine at the time. And now she has this magazine, Red, The Luxury Life. It's a beautiful magazine, beautiful people in there, pictures, and I'm honored to be in there with this
Congratulations, congratulations to that. That's amazing.
Yes, thank you. You too. Congratulations, you too. On your win. Yeah, congratulations on your award too. That is so wonderful. Yes. So honored, we're both honored. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everybody, for all of our awards.
Yes, you know, I say, you know, hard work pays off, dedication. You know, when I got this award, and I'm still trying to take it in because, you know, I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and for someone to recognize my work and to be able to give me the position to do a live award-winning show event on my platform is so big to me. It's like, I don't even think no one has done it yet. I think I'll be the first one to do an award-winning live event on a podcast.
Yes.
So I should get another. I should get another award for being the first. Debbie, for being the first person to do a live event stuff on social media. So Jennifer, you have to go back and give me another award.
There you go. I think it's fabulous. And you've interviewed so many wonderful people. I'm honored to be on here. Thank you. So many talented people.
Yes, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and you know, I was trying to get Jeff East on the show earlier, but again, because of France don't, their policies with social media wouldn't allow us to bring him on the show through live stream, so that's why he couldn't make it. And so I felt bad because I really, really wanted him to come on the show and, you know, just kind of talk about, you know, what he's doing now and talk about the movie Superman, because I'm a big fan of Superman. So
me too.
I really wanted to talk to him. And you know what's funny too, Debbie, that I reached out to Linda Carter to see if I can bring her on the show, Wonder Woman. And she hasn't replied yet, but I know she's a busy woman. But I'm just hoping.
She's fabulous.
Yes, she is. And I used to be a fan of Wonder Woman. Because my sister used to.
I love that show.
My sister used to watch it.
I love Superman, all the Superman. Superman is great too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's fabulous. I love that show.
Yeah, so, you know, so I'm waiting for her to see if she responds to have her on the show. So I got my fingers crossed on that one. So you.
I hope so.
So, Dad, let me ask you this question. I asked a lot of
Sure.
actors and actresses the same question, but I want to see what your answer would be. So if you write a book, if you was to write a book about your life, and had to film it, who would you like to play your role?
That's really an interesting question. I thought about that, and then I realized there's so many great actresses, but I would love Sandra Bullock.
Ooh.
I think she's fabulous. She is so great. And we have the same birthday, July 26th.
Oh, okay.
But I'm thinking that I just could see her playing me. I could see her playing me. Yes, it would be anybody would be wondering. I'd be honored if any celebrity played me in a movie. I would love it if she could.
Right.
Yes, that would be just dream come
Is
true.
it because you guys you feel like you guys have something in common, or?
I've always enjoyed her work. I've always enjoyed her films. I've enjoyed her work. There's a lot of people that I enjoy. I get a big kick out of all her movies and everything that she's been in. I think she's very talented, and that would anybody that would like to play me would be fabulous.
Right.
But that would be amazing. Yes.
Right.
How about you? You probably if somebody could play you could. That would be good.
Me? If who will play me if I wrote my story or a documentary about me? Okay, now you're switching the tables on me, Debbie. Now I'm being interviewed. Okay, wait a second. I think
I was just curious who you might pick. Who you might pick if somebody to play Victor's
role. Victor's role. With my life, with what I've been through, I would have to go with Robert De Niro or Robert De Niro, Pacino.
He's fabulous.
Or
yes.
Yeah, because similarities there. Me growing up, him growing up. I will see him playing me. Even though he'll have to shave his head. I don't know how he'll feel about that. I don't know how he'll feel about that, but
they're both wonderful. I love all his movies he's been in, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. They're both great. They really are. They're fabulous. I mean, there's so many people that I love. Barbra Streisand, I've seen her in concert a bunch of times. I mean, her amazing voice. I've gone to so many concerts and so many, all through the years, so many people. There's so many bands and so many musicians that I enjoy. I love anything from Gershwin. I love to go to symphonies, and I love soft rock, and I love all the greats. I love the great singers, like we know Liza Minnelli, and all the greats from Frank Sinatra, who I've seen live. I saw him live 2 years ago in Las Vegas. I've gone to a lot of shows. It's always fun to see. I just would be amazing to work with any of the actresses or actors that are in the films. It would be wonderful. It would be so much fun.
Wow. How do you balance, all this work? Like, do you sleep at night?
Oh, well, every day. I think I write a little bit. I like to write, and I also have a dating advice column in the Chicagoland area. It's for a website. I used to write for a website for my local library. Then it became through an online Trib Local. I used to write for. Then now I write for Patch.com. It's a website here, and also for a magazine. There's 2 magazines in the area that one of the publishers asked me to do my dating advice column for, and she posts it too. And it's really, she puts it in her magazines. It goes to neighborhoods that are in the northern suburbs from where I live, and I'm in those too. And it's just an honor to be in anybody's magazine or in podcast or anything. I'm just so happy. I love doing all of this. It's really neat. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it goes to a Northbrook, Illinois area. It's a suburb in Northfield and the Glenview area, and they have my advice column in there, and I'm just so happy. People write to me, men and women write to me, and sometimes after my shows there'll be single people or divorced, men and women, and they come up, I think, more men than women, and they always are asking me, for advice, and I just, I get a kick out of it. And just to do my best to answer the way I would feel anybody would actually would answer them like, because everybody has the same question usually. Where do you find Miss or Miss Right? And I always tell people, that you could be doing something that you enjoy. You could be like, I love to go to the health club. I like to walk around the track, and I like to work out. And if I'm walking the indoor track there, you never know. Maybe when you're doing something you enjoy, the right person will come up to you and say, hey, how are you? And I could say, I'm Debbie Sue. Nice to meet you. And you start a conversation by maybe taking a class in something that you like, if it's artwork or if it's bowling or a tennis. You can join a tennis club or, just something that you like. If you enjoy playing soccer, then join a soccer league, or chess. I love to play chess. And board games, join a board game group or a meetup group, and then you never know who's there. Somebody that might enjoy the same thing.
You love chess? I love chess. We're going to have to play, you and I.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I do too. I love chess. Chess.
And I don't get to play too much, but I would love to play.
I love chess. Play. Not too many people play chess, you know.
They don't. I don't really know anybody anymore that does. I mean, I had for a number of years, and then friends that used to play moved out of state, or they're not around, or they just have other things to do. But they don't really play as much as they used to. There used to be a chess club that was in my area. I don't even know if they even still have it. Maybe because of everything that's going on, they probably don't have it as much. But they did have one for a number of years where people would meet, and then they would play, and you'd play with different players. And it's such a nice game because you could play for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yes, I play for 2 or 3 hours when I play.
Yes, I enjoy it.
I play.
Me too. It takes a long time.
So you got so much stuff going on in your life. You're doing so many things. What do you enjoy most of what you do?
I think my favorite thing is writing. I love to write. If it's a song, if it's a screenplay, if it's a book, whatever, anything to do, whatever's on my mind with writing. Okay. And I got into writing drama stories too now. Okay. With The Moving Nightmare is, that screenplay is, The Moving Nightmare is like a drama. It's based on a true story of what happened to me when I moved out of my house. And what happened after it. And I was singing, that could be such a fabulous, it could be turned into a horror film, actually. Right. It was like a nightmare. But things that happen to people, and I've talked to other friends or, that have gone through moving, and they've had various things happen to them. And I said, everybody has something in their life. If you're writing about something that's true to life, I think that it could become, a hit. It could become a big feature film or a TV series or, a web series, because people can relate to the funny dating stories with the dates, with Dating Dilemma, or, the relationship between the mother and daughter on how they both were dating, different, different times, but the scenes are so cute. Yeah. But I just think when your topic is something relatable, people can see it, view it, and then say, this happened to me, or I can relate to that date, or, oh, I moved and this happened to me when I moved. I had all kinds of things through the years that have happened. And I like to put things into a song too, so I have a few music videos out there on my YouTube channel. If people go on stillsingle.org, you can look me up and write to me. Say hello to Debbie Sue.
What are your songs about?
Oh, the song. Well, one of them is "My Mom, My Angel" was dedicated, of course, to my mother. About how wonderful she was. She's my angel up in heaven. I have another one, "You're Back in My Life," it's called. And that was based on a fellow that I knew. I don't know. It might have been in my 20s, at least 5 years ago. And we were. He was an older man, and I just it was a little bit older. I remember when I was telling my mom about this fella that I was going with, because I think I might have been like maybe 23, and he was older. He was closer to 40. Okay. And I had a picture of him. At that time, we used to have pictures. We didn't just take pictures. We had pictures. And he had, I met him actually at the health club. We were walking, we were talking. And he had given me his card, and he had his picture or whatever. For whatever reason, his pictures, and I brought it home, and I was showing her. And anytime I talked about a date, she never wanted to tell me, like, give her advice, because she was always worried that she was going to say the wrong thing, and I might take it the wrong way, or I won't listen. Mothers and daughters. So when I went to show her the picture, I said, "Ma, I really want to show you this fellow, because I was just wondering, do you think that maybe he's too old for me?" Here I was 23, and he was almost 40. Right. And she said, no, I'm not looking at that picture. I don't want to give my advice because you may get upset. with my opinion. I said, no, 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 I really want you to take a look. And I just kept saying, please, please take a look. And, you know, I had his picture there, and she says, all right, I'll take a look. And she says, okay, no, no, he's not old enough to be your father. No, no. And I said, well, that's good. She says, listen, he's old enough to be your grandfather.
That's so funny.
I said, okay.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry, right, well, maybe it's a little bit too much older.
Wow.
It's cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about these stories of the funny things that happened to her. She went on a date once with a fella that she went to dinner with, and she was eating a salad, and she was eating the main course. She was telling me the story when she got back home, and I have this in my dating dilemma stories, and she says, I got to tell you something, the guy was not talking. This man was actually sitting opposite me. I'm eating my salad. And she said, Debbie Sue, he wasn't talking. He was hardly eating. He was like picking at his food, and he wasn't eating or talking. And I finally said to him, why aren't you talking and why aren't you eating? And he replied, I left my key at home. So he had no key. That was why he couldn't talk to her. He was smiling. He was sitting and smiling at her, she said, but he wasn't answering.
That's so funny.
Funny.
So
it was
on your book, Still Dating.
Sure.
You talk about dates, people getting into dates and that sort of thing.
I do. That one has it has my dates, and again with my mother at the end with her funny dates, but it does have some silly dates that I had gone on, and male friends that have told me about their dates are like, put me in your book. You know, right. People want to actually be in there, and I don't have names of anybody. Right. It's just I'll have a story that happened to me, some silly thing that happened to me, and then I have to embellish, you know, make it into, because if I would tell it the way it actually happened, it wouldn't be humorous. Is you know, adding things to it. But I start out my comedy show with the same story on how this came about. I was standing in line at my local post office, and I was minding my own business. I went on a lunch break at work, and standing there, and there was a fella behind me that was holding like a bunch of envelopes, and like this, and he taps me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and he says, with a face like that, I feel like I could tell you anything. He says, I'm going to tell you everything. So I said, okay. He says, look, I lost my last 4 jobs. Yep, they fired me. I'm mailing out 6 resumes, and my car was repossessed. So I gave him my phone number. I don't know why. He just looked like a nice guy. So I get back to work, and the phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's him. And I'm hearing like this strange noise in the background. It sounded like a washer and dryer. It was like the thump, the thump, the thump, the thump. And I'm going, hello, hello. He says, hi, Debbie. I'm calling you from the local laundromat. I'm running out of change. I'm using a payphone. A payphone in this thing. He says, and I threw it in there, but I only had a minute to talk, but I'd really like to take you on a date for a walk. I said, a walk? Ooh, who does a walk on the first date? I couldn't believe it. I said, maybe the second or the third, but the first date, a walk, I'm not that kind of girl, I told him. But all kidding aside, I ended up staying his friend. We've been friends for years.
Wow. Have you met?
A long time. I've stayed friends with a lot of guys. I've actually been buddies with one fellow for 9 years, and we go all over. We take trips together, and we travel. We go places. He takes me to out of state, to Vegas, to Florida. We go all over. We are good companions. We hang out together, and I have other wonderful male friends too, and girlfriends. I mean, I've been lucky with the friend department. Wow. They're all very nice. But I get these funny stories that come to mind. If all else fails, one thing I know for sure: when I go to my area restaurants and I sit down to eat, the bus boys love me. As soon as I sit down, they come running over the table. They refill my water. I hand them $1. They're working hard. They come back to the table again. They take the plates away. I hand them some more. Then they come back again. They give me a doggy bag. I hand them a couple of more dollars. I'm proud to admit the busboys love me for my big tips. So.
Wow. Knowing that you wrote a book called Still Dating, what advice would you give to someone that's going to start or begin a date or go on a date? What advice would you give them?
I think that the best thing to do is to be truthful, be yourself, and because sooner or later, I mean, it's like you meet people, and sometimes on these online dating sites, I've seen pictures when I tried this, you know, through the years, of people that put a picture on there that doesn't look like them. It may be from
Catfish.
years before. You know, I met this one man.
Catfish.
He had I think this had to be his high school picture or something, because I walked right by him. We met at a busy cafeteria. It was like a busy cafe, and we were gonna, you know, get what we wanted and sit down. And I walked right by him, and he's like, "Debbie, I'm over here," and I didn't know because he described himself so differently. He said he was like 6'2", and he was thin, and he was in shape, and he was going to be wearing a suit and a tie, and he had a mustache. This is how he described himself. When I walked in, this little fella. I mean, it was like he had the sideburns, but we didn't have the long hair he was talking about, and there was no mustache, and it was like it was rather large, you know. Not that it didn't matter, but it was just, I didn't know what was it.
I'm so sorry.
And so I said, how come you didn't, send me a picture or show me a different picture of what you really look like? And he said, because then you wouldn't have met me if you did. And he was, a lot older too. So, me, I'm honest. When I was on the online dating and I tried it, I put a recent picture at least from 10 years ago. No, I put a recent picture.
Woo, you went bad, girl.
I thought, should I put my high school picture on there? I mean, it's crazy. It's, you have to be honest, and otherwise it's, and then if you don't like to ski, I mean, there's one guy that wrote in his profile that he likes to ski and play tennis, and he was a soccer player, and he loved to golf, and he liked this, and all these activities. And when I met him, he says, I'm really happy just staying home and watching TV, or maybe going out to dinner. So he thought it would sound better if he wrote that he liked to do this, but why do that when, you should just be honest. If you don't enjoy skiing, don't put that in there.
I think,
because I just like to, I love dancing. I like to work out and take walks, and I'm happy just staying home cooking dinner at home and watching a movie, or going to movies or the theater, and just simple things make me happy. And there's no reason to elaborate. If you don't enjoy something, you shouldn't really do that. But you just be yourself.
Right. And I get it, because we call it catfish, right? When a person does that, tells you they this, they that, and then they post up a picture, and then you go meet them, and they're the opposite, we call that catfish. So it happened to me one time. I went all the way to New York, met this woman, and she looked like the picture, but like you said, she was in her prime time. She was younger. So I felt a certain way, but since I was already out there, I wanted to be nice. I took out to eat or whatever, spend, the time that I was going to be out there with her and stuff. But, I was uncomfortable. So with that happening to me, I just didn't, when like women hit me up on my Facebook or whatever, and they say this and that, all I want to say is be honest, right? Because if you start from the beginning of a relationship or whatever, dating, and you already start lying from the get-go, what else are you going to lie about? So it's always, I always say, honesty is the best policy. So if I meet you and you meet me, and I tell you everything about me, at least you have a choice to say, okay, I'm going to give him an opportunity, or I'm not going to give him an opportunity, right? But if I'm here and I'm lying, I'm saying this stuff and that, and then you come and meet me, already you got bad vibes, So I think my advice to people would be, if you're single and you want to start dating, be honest, be yourself. Because if you hide behind lies, sooner or later, they're going to be exposed. Now you're going to get into other things, arguments, and other things come from that. So I just learned to be honest, and to anyone in general, because I've learned that when you start lying and you start putting stuff that are not true, a lot of stuff starts to surface. And I'm the person, I don't like problems. I don't like gossip. You know, I like to be straightforward with people, and who you see is what you get. This is who Debbie is, and this is who Victor is. This is what you get. This is what's on the table. So when you come to Debbie or you come to me or anyone, you already know what you're getting into. You already know the individual, the character, what they like, what they don't like, because they tell you up front. But when you start lying and hiding behind walls, you know, trying to portray yourself to be something that you're not, you know, sooner or later, you know, when you start adding lies on top of lies on top of lies, you don't remember the first lie you said.
Exactly. Exactly. I know. It's like, and then it ends up that they're going to find out anyhow. I mean, like this one fella, I mean, he, you know, I met him, and of course I would know now that he's, you know, 20 years old or older, you know, because I met him. But instead of starting out, I would have met him anyhow if he would have, because I like older men anyway. So it wouldn't matter to me. And it doesn't matter if somebody is, you know, it works doing whatever they do for their living. It doesn't matter if they're in a corporate office or if they're, you know, flipping burgers. I'm happy. Just I like to be with somebody nice, and you know, I have good friends, and it really none of that matters to me. I don't care what kind of car somebody drives. I don't care about, I care about the person, not about what they're living in, what kind of car, you know, just, for me, I just am very happy just going out, getting, you know, even cooking a meal or just getting a sandwich. I'm a very simple eater. I don't have to, once in a while a steak is nice, but I don't need all that fancy stuff. I'm just happy, you know, just enjoying the company of who I'm with is more important to what I'm eating or where I'm at or where I'm going or, you know, I'm just happy just staying, just watching a movie and making dinner and, you know, cooking a good dinner and having dinner. It's nice to go out, and I do enjoy steaks and, you know, but I can sit and split a sandwich and be just as happy. And turkey sandwich is really my favorite. But you know, I just, you know, you have to be honest. It really is the main thing. I feel that it's a relationship is built on honesty, and if you're not being honest, then you're starting off on the wrong foot.
And you said,
you
just said something that caught my attention. You said you like older men. Because, you know, I know some women that like younger men. Why do you prefer older men? Just your opinion.
Oh, I think I just, I always have. I mean, actually, years ago I was married and he was my age. We actually went to school together, and it ended nicely. And I just wasn't happy, and I left. But I had an annulment. I didn't have a divorce. I had an annulment, so it's like you were never even married. It was a short time, but I feel like for some reason I've always liked older men. I don't know why. I don't know. It didn't matter if, you know, it doesn't really. I could talk to people my own age too, or guys my age. But I've always liked it. I don't know why. I've just always been more attracted to that. I have a buddy that actually I've known for years that's actually younger, and we get along great. But he's a mature younger guy. And only 9 years age difference. But it's still, I've always liked, you know, men that were older for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel that I'm just used to that. I maybe just was something that when my mom was married to my stepdad and he passed 2 years ago, he was like 21 years older than her, and maybe it just stayed with me. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I just always been attracted more to.
I like older women myself, and you know, I just prefer older women, but you know, everybody has their own preference on you know, on dating, but I just like older women, but I definitely would love to see you on stage performing. I know you like to write, and you know, how good did you know Jennifer? Do you know Jennifer personally, or just?
Oh, well, we've kept in touch. We've talked on the phone. We've kept in touch through Messenger, and we've talked quite a few times. And for about maybe 3 or 4 years, I believe, we connected on Facebook, and we stayed in touch for all this time. And I'm so honored to know her, and everything she does is so wonderful. I mean, it's so.
She's amazing. Yeah. She's a tough cookie, spicy. You know, she's my spicy little redhead. I tell her, I said, girl, you are too. I said, I don't know how her husband Bill can. This woman loves to do skydive. She's trying to get me to skydive. I said, that's not happening. That's not happening.
I saw that. Wow, I was amazed when I saw that on her page, on the Facebook page. I thought, oh my goodness, that's amazing. I could never do that. I don't think I could do that.
Hey,
I'm not good. It takes a lot for me to even just get on a plane.
okay.
I'm not. I have to be. I'm just not a good flyer either. But I sit there. I don't move. I'm not really good with that. I'd rather be on the ground. I'm not good with trains or cars. But I fly places. But I'm just not. I'm not really too good. But that's amazing. Skydiving is very hard. Yeah. I would be really. I don't know if I could.
Me neither. I think I'll faint before the door open. I think I'll already be on the floor.
I know, me too. I would too. I think that it would be. I would pass out before I
They're gonna have to roll me instead of jumping. They're gonna have to roll me out. Roll them out. Push them out. You know, because I ain't jumping off no plane. But
I know. They say it's great. They say it's an exhilarating thing to be. It's like you're flying. It feels like you're flying in the air.
Right.
It looks really cool.
Right.
It does. It looks.
So if anybody wants to find your books, find your music, or find you, you know, how can they contact you to find, maybe purchase some of your books? On what line?
Of course. If you go on my website, I have a website, stillsingle.org, O-R-G, all one word, stillsingle.org. And then my email's on there. I have my links to my comedy. And if you just go on Google and put Debbie Sue Goodman, author, comedian, I'm all over the place. I'm like this too. You can find
I like that.
I'm all over on Google. But there's all kinds of articles, different articles about being in the papers. I've had several really wonderful articles through the years of my shows and different appearances that I made, and all of that is all on my website.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I'm going to bring you back on the show on March 5th because we're going to talk about your award. I didn't want to talk about it because I want to leave that for March 5th. I want to bring you back on March 5th and we can talk about the award.
Oh, I would love it. Yes.
So
thank you, Victor.
You're welcome. You are so welcome. And I just want to say I am honored to meet you. I am honored you came on the show, gave me your time. And I want to thank Jennifer for making this happen. She's amazing. And, you know, and for all the people that are watching, there's some people watching right now.